Okay, well, go ahead. You're able to hear my voice, right? Okay, so we'll just continue. So here you are seeing the spiritual world and material world, and you can see it next. So Lord Sri Krishna expands himself as Mahavishnu for creating innumerable universes. This is how it starts. So I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So everything emanates from me. So this is from Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Vatta Parataram Nanyat. Krishna is saying that from me everything emanates. So this is it. So this is the slide. So our universe, you can see here, this is a creation of God of all the different universes. First, Lord Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, and from Mahavishnu's each pore, skin pore, is a divine skin pore. One universe comes out, you know, and that one universe is like you can compare it to a mustard seed in a bag. Full of mustard seeds, all these, different universes. That is a dimension of Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu, he expands as a Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which within each and every other universe. You can see there, there are different other universes where you can see there is a deity, within that particular universe ball. You can see there is a deity of Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Mother Lakshmi Ji in all the different universes. So what happens in the beginning is Mahavishnu, he by his glance is called as Shambhu. By his glance, he impregnates Durga Devi. Durga Devi is the presiding deity of this whole matter, material world. So in the spiritual world, there is Radha Krishna and Lakshmi Narayan, and in the material world, there is Lord Shiva and Mother Durga. They are our mother and father. So Lord Krishna is Shaktiman, and Radharani is Antaranga Shakti, and Durga Devi is Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga matlab internal potency, and Durga Devi is external potency. So that is the difference. So at this point, after the all the Brahmandas are created, there are 5 elements, which are making up layers. What happens is there is just like you have an atta, for example, when you put water in it, and it becomes in some dough sort of thing, and then from dough you start making all the different clusters to make a chapati. So in a very similar way, so this universe, before creation, there is a subtle form called as pradhana. It is in a complete subtle form. Just like you have thought turns into word, word turns into action. In a very similar way, this pradhana, which is the very subtle form of the creation, it do these 5 elements, and then these 5 elements start mixing among themselves, and they form these different brahmanda eggs, like that. And this all this different mixing of things happens by glance of God. Krishna, Lord Vishnu, Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu, he through the time factor, he activates this pradhana, which is the subtle form of matter. Just like a woman cannot produce a child without a man, so in a very similar way, this pradhana or the material nature cannot produce all these different living entities without glance of Mahavishnu. So this is the greatness of Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu glances and he activates through the time factor. It is beyond actually, so powerful actually. And then the manifestation of the universal form in the universal X. Like, this universe is called as Brahmanda. So anda matlab egg, Brahmanda matlab this universe. It's in a shape of an egg actually. So this is what the Shastras tell. Brahmanda. The exact information. So when the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form or the Vishwarupa came into existence. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.6.4. See, the numbers are little not clear. So it is basically uh, the Virat Rupa or a universal form of God. That comes from Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So I'll just tell about this Garbhodaksha Vishnu also. So we talked about Mahavishnu, who is the person who created this material world from his skin pores, all the different Brahmandas. And now we'll talk about Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from whom this Virat Rupa comes. So of course, this picture. There is a gigantic universal form, and so the different senses and the objects of senses. It is all because of the universal form. So the Mahatattva, it has 23 elements, and then the jivas get into it and activate it. So and these are different technicalities of how it gets activated by false ego, and then there is Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna, and the further activations. So this is very clearly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, very amazingly. So the Lord enters into each and every universal form in each universal egg as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So this is what I want to tell you. And from this Garbhodaksha Vishnu comes Lord Brahma. You can see in and Lord Mahavishnu, he enters into all the different Brahmandas as the Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So you can see there is a connection between Lord Krishna and Mahavishnu, who is the source of all the universes. And from Mahavishnu, there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who enters into all the Brahmandas. And when you see, the connection, I mean, there is a cord between the navel of Vishnu and Lord Brahma. That means it is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. That is the, identity. You can make a note of it. Like to identify Garbhodaksha Vishnu, whenever you see Lord Brahma connecting to Mahavishnu, it is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And then from Garbhodaksha Vishnu comes Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Kshir matlab milk. Milk. So in a milk ocean, there is a milk ocean within within the creation of Vishnu only. So and that Vishnu, he stays in Shir Sagar. He stays in the Shir Sagar. He is called as Kshirodaksha Vishnu. That Shir Sagar, because he stays in that Shir Sagar, he is called as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and he expands as Antaryami in all our hearts. So in your heart, my heart, and everybody's heart, he is there as Antaryami. He is there right now in your heart. You can feel his presence. So that is Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who is there beside us. You are there as super soul. You are there beside super soul as soul. Is there watching each and every one of our activities. So Vishnu, this from Shastras. Vishnu's Vishnu's tu trini rupani Purushakyani atho vidhu. And there is further description of different. There is three Nirupani. There are three Vishnus, three main Vishnus. These three Vishnus are called as Purusha Avtaras. सोऽसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धा प्रेमास्मितेन नयनां बुरुहं विजृम्भन् उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय छनो विशालम् madhyagiراपणेतात् पुरुषा पुराण. So Lord Brahma is praying, is offering these prayers to Garbhodaksha Vishnu. My Lord, by your smile, you wake up, you activate the whole universe. That is a prayer which Lord Brahma is offering to Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So all the living entities, they are injected within the womb of Mahatattva and they are divided into all the different universes. So with the incarnation of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, there is a different universes and different living entities, and within different Garbhodaksha Vishnu's womb, and he activates the Lord Brahma with all the jivas. So that is the power of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Garbhodaksha Vishnu, in order to create Lord Brahma, he doesn't need the help of any woman. So just by his desire, he can create. So that is the power. And in between Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Lord Brahma, there are 14 planetary systems. That is the dimension. You can just see here. So here is a Virat Rupa. From in between this navel of Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma, the 14 planetary systems, they take form of this Virat Rupa. So in the difference between spiritual world and material world is, in spiritual world there is no creation and no destruction, but in material world there is creation and destruction. That is the only difference. So this is from Bhagavad Gita 9.8. The whole cosmic order is under me, under my will it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will it is annihilated at the end. So this is the power. Prakritim swam avasthabhya visrejami puna puna bhutagramam mimam krishnam. So this is the statement in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I enter into each and every planet, and by my energy they stay in the orbit. So this is from Bhagavad Gita 15.13. So this is the bottom line. Jajjad vibhudimat satvam srimajurjitam evava tattadevavagachatvam mama tejamsa sambhavam. So all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations which you are seeing in this world is just a spark of God's splendor. So whatever huge things you are seeing, this huge material universe, and within the universe there is expansion of Garbhodaksha Vishnu and all these things, they are nothing but the spark of God's splendor. So Krishna is the source of all the Vishnus. So this is one of the pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam only called as Brahma Vimohan Lila. So where Krishna expands as enormous number of Vishnus. And here you can see Krishna expands as Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu he creates all the Brahmandas, and he expands within the Brahmandas as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and from Garbhodaksha Vishnu he expands as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu enters into all our hearts, and he stabilizes all the different atoms. Andantarasa Paramanu Chandarasam. He is there in Brahmanda as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and Paramanu within the atom as Lord Vishnu. I mean, expansion within the atom, and he stabilizes the atom, putting all the protons together. Protons are all actually like charges, but how they are stable without repelling from each other, that is because of the presence of Lord Vishnu within them. That's why the electrons are flowing very nicely, and there is electron mechanics, because of which scientists are taking so much advantage of. So basically you can see Lord Krishna. So Mahavishnu, and then there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and finally Kshirodaksha Vishnu within all our hearts. The millions of universes emerge from Mahavishnu, is only a portion of Lord Krishna. So there is a glory. You can see Garbhodaksha Vishnu. The moment you see thread connecting Lord Brahma and Vishnu, that is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So in between both of them, there are 14 planetary systems. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he expands as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and Kshirodaksha Vishnu enters into all our hearts. You can see here, within the different living entities like giraffes, elephants, human beings, apes, all these different animals. He expands within all their hearts beside their Atma. So there is Atma, and besides that, as Paramatma, Kshirodaksha Vishnu enters into all their hearts, and he stabilizes their different movements, whatever desires they want and all that. So that is the glory of Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and he enters into the atom and he stabilizes the atom. So there is a Kshir Sagar which I mentioned, in which Kshirodaksha Vishnu, he stays there, and from there, he expands everywhere. You can see this, he is expanding into all different. There is the end of Sarga, there is the end of creation. So Lord Krishna, he expands into Swamshas, matlab as Mahavishnu, as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and also you can see here so many avatars: Nrsimha avatar, Vamana avatar, Kalki avatar. And he is the source of even demigods also. All the different demigods, like if you see, take an example of Ganesha. So Ganesha is actually, he has the two tusks. Two tusks are like two. He keeps two tusks at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha, and he gets all the charge. Charge to remove all the vigna, all the obstacles. So actually, who is the original, removal of obstacles? The Nrsimha one day. Just like you plug into a charge, you plug in your charge and get the charge. In a very similar way, he gets all the charge of removing obstacles from Lord Nrsimha by putting his two tusks at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimha. And all the different personalities, like Lord Hanuman, he's a devotee of pure devotee of Lord Ram. And you can see Lord Shiva, he always chants names of Lord Ram. The Lord Brahma, you can see Surya, hearing Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna. In the 4th chapter it comes, Imam Viveshwata Yugam. So like that, all the different demigods, they're actually getting the strength from Lord Krishna only. So that is the main thing. He's a source of energy for everybody else. And he's a source of them. And in fact, it is said that in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma prays to Lord Krishna. You can see this prayer also. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is playing his flute, and he is so beautiful. I mean, he's so beautiful that thousands of cupids are also, you cannot just equate him. Millions of cupids also cannot equate him. That is the beauty of Lord Krishna. And one of the prayer Lord Brahma tells is, just as from milk comes curd, in a very similar way, Lord Krishna is like milk, and Kshiram Yata Dadi, matlab Dadi matlab the yogurt. Just like you take out yogurt from the milk, in a very similar way, the Shambhu Tattva comes from Vishnu Tattva. You know? So Vishnu Tattva is infinite spirit, and Jiva Tattva, matlab we are infinitesimal spirit, and in between both of us is the Shambhu Tattva, matlab Lord Shiva's. So Lord Brahma creates in a sense, but he also gives the knowledge also, through the parampara. This Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, which we are getting benefited by because of this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Srila Prabhupada is in this Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he gave this knowledge of creation. And in his Brahma Samhita, he gave different details of creation. So he's the first receiver of the Vedas, and he's handing down, to all the beings, earthly beings. So Krishna is the essence of everything, and he is the essence of everything, matlab everything. So you can see here, Rasoham Apsukondya, he is the taste of water, and he is the smell of the earth. You can see here. He Prabhasme says Shurya, he is the cause of the effulgence of the sun. It is not, this effulgence of sun is not put by any scientists. You can see here. So this effulgence, which you are seeing, it is not at all, there is no question of any scientist, putting in the, such a huge amount of planet. In fact, from sun planet only, so much of energy has been taken out. All the solar planets, solar panels, they take out all the energy because it is such a huge amount of energy. The sun, each and every second, the amount of energy which it emanates is so huge that the entire human race, can live for ever. Actually, the amount of energy which it emanates is so huge. And Prabhasmi Shishi Surya Yo, not only Surya, Shishi, the moon is a cause of the moonlight also. From moonlight, the vegetation, the juice in the vegetables, it is coming because of the moon light. And he is the cause.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So Paurisham Nirshu, he is the strength of the stronger. And he is the cause of Punya Gandha Prithivyam. When there is water that falls on when it falls on the earth, the smell which you get is actually from, that smell, Krishna is saying, I am that smell. When you get any rose seeds, any flower seeds, when you try to smell it, you don't get any smell. But when you sow the seed in the air, that seed has a particular frequency tuning to a particular smell, smell tuning, and because of that tuning, there is a smell of rose flower or whatever, any other flower. So that actually smell comes from earth only, and Krishna is saying, I am that smell. And he is tapas chasmi tapasvinam. Of all the tapasvis, he is the he is tapasya. of the tapasvis. And Bijamam Sarva Bhutanam, Vidyapartha Sanatanam, original seed of all existences. And Buddhir Buddhimatam Asmi. So he is the, just like Newton got that Eureka, because of his intelligence. And he is, Krishna is saying, I am that intelligence of the intelligent. And Tejas Vinamaham. He is the Tejas of the strong people. And the saintly kings, Balam Balavatam Chaham, Kamaraga Vivarjitam. Saintly kings used to use their prowess not to show up their personal aggression, but to protect the weak. And Krishna is saying, I am that strength. And Dharma Viruddha Bhuteshu Kamasmin Bharadar Sabha. I am that sex life which is not against religious principles. Malab sex for only producing Krishna conscious children, God conscious children. So all the above 14 examples are present to understand how great God is, and Krishna is beyond all of them. Hare Krishna. You're able to hear my voice? You're able to hear my voice, Panish or Banu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I can able to hear you.
Okay. Till what point you heard? Matlab, I think I just saw that it got cut actually.
You are getting disconnected, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. You heard till this point? You can tell me the slide, where you heard, so that I can continue.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm saying, you can tell the slide, where you got disconnected.
This slide only, the one which is Krishna is beyond the modes.
Okay. So we'll enter, we are just approaching the end of this session. So the third part, which is even after knowing so much of greatness of God, some of them accept, and there are some who don't accept. They reject. So Krishna is giving the reasons. So the jivas are deluded by the modes, and thus they cannot understand me. Tribhar gunamayar bhaver, ye bhi sarvam idam jagat, mohitam na vijanati mamebhya paramabhyam. So transcending Maya by surrendering to Krishna. So how one can come out of this Maya is Mamevaye Prabhadyate Maya Medam Tarandite. When you surrender to Krishna, then you can cross over this Maya. Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya. It is very difficult to surpass this Maya. But when you surrender to God, then you can easily surpass this Maya. That is the power of God. So now I'll just play short audio. You can I'm just playing one audio. You can just tell me in case you're not able to hear. You got to hear some audio, Panish? Okay. Bhanu, you're able to hear audio? these are the four categories who surrender and who don't surrender. The 15th is those who don't surrender, Duskritina Muda. So you can see Muda matlab those who just want to work very hard. They work very so hard, and they don't give any fruits to God. They just want everything for themselves. That is Muda. And Prabhadyante Naradama. The second category is they they don't this Naradama categories like within the humans, Nara, there are two categories. One is civilized and uncivilized. So this uncivilized categories, and they can be very materially educated, have high position and all that. They have this different positions and posts within the society also, but still the uncivilized category are called as Naradharma, whether they are highly educated materially or not, because they don't accept the scriptures, and whatever they do socially, politically, religiously is all according to their own gray matter, not according to Shastras. So that's why they're called as Naradharma. And 99.9% are in that category only. And the third category is Maya Aparita Gnana. Like you can see, there are many people who misinterpret Vedic knowledge. Whatever Vedic knowledge is there, like white light is coming, but it is get received through a red color glass. Then the output is only red color. It has no value. So in a very similar way, when the Vedic knowledge, which is coming, which is a white pure light, when it is being received in a incomplete way, then it is. When it has been, the purpose has not been spoken in the sense, Vedas are telling one thing, and the person is speaking something else. He is giving some other interpretation of what the message is. Then that is very dangerous. So there is a Maya Aparita Gnana. Their intelligence. These are not very very intelligent people. This Kritina matlab they are very intelligent, but their intelligence has been stolen. Apahrita Gnana. So this Maya Bhartagnana, like one of the example you can see person like Zakir Naik, who you can see 7th chapter 20th sloka, next sloka, their Kama is said there Ritagnana Prabhadyanti Anya Devata. So this the sloka 7th chapter 20th sloka Anya Devata is actually the actual meaning is the other demigods. So one who worships other demigods out of kama says there, matlab out of desire is ritagnana, matlab less intelligent. That is the meaning. But he started telling it as Anya Devata is transforming as deity worship, Vigraha Puja. So this is one of the dangerous example of misinterpreting, Maya Bharatagnana. And fourth category is Asuram Bhavam Asrita. They're complete outright atheistic people who just they they kill millions of cows by machine, and they have illicit sex, and they do abortions. They kill babies. So they do all those things. Asuram Bhavam. They're outright atheists and they completely hate God. So, and there are four other categories who come to God. So one is Artho Arthartha Jignasur Jnani. Matlab one first category is those who are distressed. And second category is those who are after money, Artharthi. And third category is those who are inquisitive, they want to know more. And this category is comparatively better than Artharthi. And the fourth and topmost category is the Gnani category. They want to know about God. So, and they want to know about God so that they can become devotee of God. So that's why there is a top category. So Krishna is saying of all the four, Gnani is the best. And of course, So one may be getting a question. So HEAD, H is hearing, E for how understanding God is there everywhere, and there is A. There is one category who is accepting God, and there is another category who is rejecting God. So there may be another category who may not accept God and who may not be so bad as those who reject God, but they go to some other demigods. So now here is the point about those demigods.
All I can say is that he loves me very much, and thus, then those results are to your devotees, you God, I make their... Such a great soul is very rare. Krishna, I have understood that those with material desires, in distress, or who want money, achieve their goal by rendering service to you. However, some people have similar problems but surrender to demigods. What is their situation? Their knowledge is taken away, Arjun, because they think that their problems cannot be satisfied by Vishnu. Such a person, who may have a disease, will think that it will quickly be destroyed if he worships the sun god, but it won't happen if he worships Vishnu. Therefore, Rita Jnana, their intelligence is stolen. They do this because they are controlled by their lower nature. And because I'm in their heart as the Supersoul, when they desire to worship some demigod, I make their faith steady, so that they can devote themselves to that particular deity, and make believe that their demigod is supreme. So whoever wants to worship demigods, I give them faith in that deity. I create that faith in them. The demigods are not capable of doing it. Then, by that faith, they worship the demigod and obtain their desired goal by my grace. By worshipping the deity, they get the result. Because the demigods are my body, I grant their particular desires, even though the worshipper does not know that I am doing it. The results of these foolish people are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Hey Krishna, you are doing a big injustice to these people. They do the same amount of effort in worshipping their deities as do your devotees in worshipping you. To your devotees, you give an unlimited result because they go to the spiritual world where there is no end of pleasure. But these other people's result is limited, so this is an injustice. They perform the same amount of effort, but the result is different. I am not doing any injustice, Arjun. Devan Devayajo Yanti. They worship the demigods and they go to the demigods. And those who worship me come to me. Where is the injustice? It's just the rule. Those who worship demigods go to them. My worshippers come to me. When the demigods are themselves temporary and perishable, how can the result of their worship be permanent? Both the demigods and the results will be destroyed. Therefore I say that the worshippers of these demigods are Alpamedhasa, less intelligent. But those who worship with the idea that these demigods are also expansions of me, then those results are not temporary. If they worship the demigods, understanding them as my bodily limbs, then they will come to the proper position. However, those who have no intelligence think that I am beyond nature, but have no form, and that my appearance in the house of Vasudeva is an acceptance of a material form. They think that my appearance is illusory, not transcendental. Why do they think like this? They do not know that my form and pastimes are beyond the material nature and are all transcendental. Krishna, if you say that your form, qualities, and activities are eternal, why aren't they always seen by everyone? I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent, Arjun. For them I am covered by my Yoga Maya, and so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. But you should understand that neither external nor internal energy can cover my knowledge. Maya cannot cover its support. Although it covers them, it cannot cover me. Thus, I know everything, past, present, and future. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. Since when have the living entities become bewildered, Krishna? Since the beginning of creation, all of the living entities are bewildered, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. As soon as birth takes place, one becomes entangled and entrapped. Because of this ignorance, one becomes bewildered and attached. Those who have excessive attachment or excessive aversion cannot become a devotee. Then how does anyone ever become a devotee, Krishna? It seems so difficult. Those persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life have come to the end of their sins by the merciful glance of great devotees. Such devotees wander the earth to give mercy to pious souls. Therefore, they get strong faith and then understand me in truth and begin to render service to me with determination. I have explained how some devotees with material desires get those desires fulfilled and come to me. But there is another type of Sakkam Bhakta, Arjun. They are people who desire liberation from old age and death. They take shelter and worship my deity and are actually Brahman because they know everything about transcendental activities. After rendering service to me, they get to know me and become liberated. They do not attain devotion though, for that is not their desire. However, those with full consciousness of me, who know me to be the governing principle of this material manifestation, of the demigods, and of all sacrifices, can understand and know me even at the time of death.
So thank you so much for being with us. Hare Krishna.